I was 17 when I got married. This is about my first wedding night. I was still young, but my family got me married. Maybe I was still young to handle this relationship. I argued with my family. I begged. But they assured me that there was no other choice. On my wedding day, I felt like I was being taken away from my life. I didn't know what the first night meant. I thought it was just lying down with my husband and sleeping. But the reality was not that simple. I was sitting alone in the room on the first night of my marriage. My heart was beating fast. I was also young. I didn't know the meaning of marriage either. The noise of the guests and children was so loud that as night fell, I was left alone in my room. Everyone else left. The door opened, and my husband slowly entered, whom I had never seen before. He moved towards me with restless steps. He was not cruel, not harsh, but he was a man, and I was a girl who could not understand what was going to happen. He turned off the light. The room became dark. My hands trembled. I was afraid of what was going to happen to me. I did not know what he was going to do. He came closer, step by step. My chest tightened. I held my dress tightly, but he still leaned towards me. His hands reached very close to me, and my heart started beating fast. He came very close to me, and he started to untie my clothes and grabbed my chest with his other hand. I was frightened. Without thinking, I pushed him back. The sound in the silent room was cut off. He went silent. His body froze. The air became heavy. He did not make a noise. He did not move. He retreated without saying anything to me. For a long time there was nothing but silence between us. Finally he turned away. He opened the door and left me sitting there. It was my wedding night. No love, no peace, just fear, shock, and silence. I sat there hugging myself. I didn't understand what had just happened. The next morning I expected anger. I expected screaming, accusations, maybe cruelty. But instead he avoided me. We became strangers. He slept in a bed in another room and I in another. In the morning, we ate at the same table, but hardly spoke. For days, we lived under the same roof, but in different worlds. Sometimes I caught him looking at me, not with anger, but with questions in his eyes. He never forced me, never raised his voice. And slowly, I began to wonder why. Why didn't he demand what he could have considered his right? One night, I had a very high fever. I was alone in my room, shivering. Suddenly, the door opened and I felt someone enter the room. My husband came in with medicine and a glass of water. His hand gently wiped my forehead. "You are burning," he whispered, concern in his voice. He sat next to me until I fell asleep. When I woke up, he was gone, but the medicine and water were still there. That was the first night I realized that he was not my enemy. Days passed, then weeks. Slowly, the ice between us began to melt. One evening, I found him sitting on the veranda, staring at the sunset. His shoulders felt heavy, as if he were carrying a burden he had never spoken about. Finally, I walked up to him. My voice was shaky. "I am sorry," I told him. He turned to me in surprise. "Why?" he asked softly. "For that night. That I treated you. To push you away. For treating you like a stranger," I whispered. My eyes filled with tears. He looked at me for a long time. Then something inside him broke. His own eyes were wide open. He said, "I never wanted to hurt you. I had promised myself that I would never be like those men who forced someone. That night, I thought I had already failed you." Hearing those words shocked me. All this time, I thought he was distant because he didn't care. But the truth was, he cared a lot. Things changed between us after that evening. We still lived in separate rooms, but things were a little different now. The silence was gentle now. He would ask how my day was. When he came home, I would make him tea. Slowly, we began to understand each other. One night, I went into his room and he was sleeping, his arm hanging over the edge, his face peaceful. My heart had softened for him. For the first time, I wanted to be close to him. I didn't wake him up. I stood there for a long time, looking at him, feeling that maybe I was falling for the man I was afraid of. And then came the night that changed everything. It was evening when my husband returned from work. It was raining lightly and his clothes were wet. I gave him dry clothes and said, "Change." My heart was restless. Without thinking, I went into his room where he was sitting, looking at something on his mobile. He looked at me in shock. He asked softly, "Aren't you sleepy?" I shook my head, unable to find the words. I slowly moved toward him. My body was trembling, but not from fear of something new. Before I could speak to him, I sat on his lap. He froze, stunned, as if he were afraid to even breathe. His arm slowly came around me, not forcefully but carefully, protectively, lovingly, like a cage built not to trap me but to keep me safe. I put my face on his chest. My heart was pounding, but for the first time, it wasn't from fear. It was from warmth. I lifted my head and looked at him. His eyes searched me, asking for permission without saying a word. And then I kissed him. He kissed me back, softly, carefully, as if I was the most delicate thing he had ever owned. That night we forgot the world. The distances between us, the fears, the silences were forgotten. All that existed was the storm outside us, and the peace we finally found in each other. That peace we will never forget. On that rainy night, everything changed. We ate together, laughed together, and no longer lived in separate rooms, but slept in the same room in the same bed. Our home slowly filled with warmth, laughter, love. It came in patience, in kindness, in silence that turned into words, distance that turned into closeness. And everything was okay. It became beautiful, and it came in that rainy night, when two broken souls finally chose each other. And everything happened in that one night. Marriage is not about strength. It is about safety. It is about knowing each other. Love knocks on your door, but it never breaks it. And that is why, to this day, when it rains, I smile, because the rain reminds me of that night. And we will always remember this rain and this night.